Grateful Dead? Yeah. So, all right, that's good. So I'm sitting in my little rent-a-car, and I start driving into the plantation. And if you've ever seen the banana plantations, it's just endless. And they have these big blue plastic bags around the bananas. And I'm just driving through it. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, it was like, there's like this plane with a big stream of smoke behind it, flies right over my car. And I thought I was about to crash, yet it flies right over my car, and I start feeling my face, and my eyes are burning. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I watch this plane fly right over a playground full of indigenous children playing soccer. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I literally, right then, I pulled the emergency brake on my life. And I said, I can't believe this is happening. Who is responsible for this? How is this happening? You know, this is terrible. These indigenous children, indigenous people that have treated the earth like an extension of their bodies for centuries, and here we are, spraying them with neurotoxic chemicals so we could have cheap, flawless-looking bananas. So yeah, what to do about it? I was 21 years old, deeply mourning the recent death of Jerry Garcia, and I decided I was going to move to Costa Rica and try to figure out if there's another way to design, because that's what we're going to think about today is design. Who is designing our world? And I just know that we can do so much better. So the first thing I did was I ended up here on the southern Caribbean coast of Costa Rica at the very past the end of the road. I was just talking to somebody. I was like, yeah, I'm in Costa Rica, south of Puerto Viejo. I was like, south of Puerto Viejo? I was like, yeah, south. And you have to actually take a boat to get there. There's no road. It was off the grid. And it's just right in the jungle on the beach. And, you know, being there's no road, I started thinking, okay, I'm going to start bringing high school students down to Costa Rica, and I'm going to show them how beautiful and magical the country is. But I also want to show the reality of the rainforest destruction, the reality of the indigenous cultural decimation, the reality of the multinational industrial agricultural hell. And then I want to try to show solutions. And that's where Punta Mona came in. I met my neighbor, Patty. He was born there in 1928. When I first met him, he said, boy, my cord is buried right out there in the yard. I was like, what? Oh, my cord is buried right out there in the yard in 1928. He was this old Caribbean man. He was like the quintessential old man by the sea. And we started talking. I was like, yeah, I want to start bringing my groups here. I want them to see how you live. Like this is incredible. And so, yeah, it's right here. This is all in here. And I started getting into plants. Absolutely freaking obsessed with plants. If you were to put my name here and you had to put like a title under me, I would say ethnobotanist. Ethnobotany is the study of the relationship between humans and plants. Ooh, so good, right? The study of the relationship between human beings and plants. I love plants so much, I could jerk out some tears right now. That's how deeply I love them. Like, I am obsessed. Like, my sweetie wakes up in the morning and she sees me on, like, scrolling through my dorky Facebook fruit groups that I obsess about. And I'm stalking people in Sri Lanka and in Brazil and all over Hawaii and just learning and seeing what's happening. And so we started in 1995 and we just became this demonstration. And it wasn't like we were a demonstration of solutions, but not because we knew the answers. But we were starting to understand the questions. And so we started to grow food, you know, and people just started flocking. People from all around the world would come. And this relationship we had with our food, often we would make meals with ingredients that have never met in the history of humanity. Because we were growing all this weird stuff. And and everybody was cooking together. And the food was so freaking good because we were just pouring so much love and magic into growing it and so much love and magic into cooking it. The joy in the kitchen was just like contagious. People would walk in our portal and, what in the hell is this place? You know, random people would just walk up on the beach and just like, yeah, it's just incredible. I just want to take a moment and talk about a couple of foods. On the left, we have cacao. And on the right, anybody know? Dad, don't say anything. I know you know. Huh? No? Eso, papito. Pejibaye in Spanish. In Costa Rica, we call it pejibaye. In Colombia, you call it chontaduro. In English, we call it peach palm. If I had to go to a deserted island, I can only bring one seed. That's the seed I would bring. It's where heart of palm comes from. Heart of palm that you all eat it's the heart of that palm. That's the fruit of that palm, which is like an avocado meets an oily potato. Two of my favorite foods on earth from the same tree. You could also make your floor and your walls from the bark of the palm. But I'm not going to get too into the rabbit hole of plants. I love cacao. After this tonight, we're going to really go deep with the cacao. I hope everybody can come. Some special cacao from Nicaragua. Part of the cacao is from our farm in Punta Mona, so you get to taste it. On the left there, we got mangosteens, the queen of fruits, the Jewish mango. And on the right, we got jackfruit. And jackfruit is just incredible. And I could go on and on and on. If Andrea could kick me under the table, she's like, Steven, okay, good, next slide. Enough about the plants. But what's so interesting about what we've become at Punta Mona is we become this bridge between indigenous wisdom and then just like people from around the world that are just ready to start learning this. Like we have become this like center for honoring indigenous wisdom. And there's so much of it there. And it's like somehow they're like embarrassed of their culture and they're forgetting their languages and they're trying to be like, Costa Ricans and forgetting where they came from. So our goal has been deeply to honor their wisdom and their knowledge and their experience in living in these jungles. And lots and lots and lots of people just kept coming and coming. I started teaching permaculture in 1990. I took my course in 99, started teaching in 2001, and we've taught tens of thousands of people since then. And if you don't know much about permaculture, it's a ecological design philosophy. It's like putting on a whole new lens and like literally all these things that I'm talking about, it makes it so tangible and feasible and doable. I recently, a few years ago, all this education, we started a program called Ecoversity, which is like an online way to start. We teach these permaculture courses and a bunch of other things online. And then after many years in Punta Mona, it was like, yeah, this is really cool what we're doing here. It's like, wow, people are really liking it. And we were like so ahead of our time, and that we didn't have really anyone else doing it. So people were just flocking there. And my dad, who was a dentist on 125th Street for 35 years, was ready to retire. And I was like, Dad, man, I'm on to something in Costa Rica. Like, you're getting older. I want to eventually have kids. Like, this world's, can I say it? This world's fucked. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. It's a mess. It's a mess. Like, I don't want to, who's going to take care of you guys when you get older? We're going to ship you off to some old age place, or I'm going to send my kids to these crappy schools, or I'm going to eat food shipped from across the world. I don't want to live that way. And so I said, Dad, I think we could do this. Let's do it. Raise some money, and let's buy some land, and let's create a community. So the first thing I did was I created a criteria of what does that land look like, and I wrote it down. It's 15 acres. It's in Homestead. No, I started listing the criteria of what that land looks like. And first, I knew I wanted to be in Costa Rica. No army. The climate's incredible. Then I said, you know what? I want to be in Costa Rica, but I don't want to be so far from the airport in San Jose. So I wrote it down. Okay, less than 1 hour from San Jose. And then in 2004, I went to the Rainbow Gathering. I don't know if you guys know what that is, like this hippie thing. It was the international one in Costa Rica in 2004. And it was on this river. And every day, I would lay naked. Yes, Mom, naked. Naked on these big hot boulders until I got so hot and crispy that I just rolled into the crystal clear freaking pools and drank the water. Every day I would do that. I was like, I grew up in Miami. I built by the ocean, Punta Mona. I've always been on the ocean. I want to be on a crystal clear river, and I want to swim in it every day. Write it down on my criteria. And then I said, I want to be between 400 and 800 meters above sea level. It creates the perfect climate for living, but also the perfect climate for growing food. And then last but not least, I wanted to find land that was already radically disturbed. I didn't want to find like some primary forest and then try to bring everybody to come, we're going to clear this area so we can live. No. I want to come in and regenerate the land. I know you guys probably have heard this before, but sustainable is not enough. If I was to say, hey, Rye, how you in Holland doing? How's your relationship? And you said, oh, yeah, we're sustainable. I'd be like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. I know some great counselors, like you're just sustainable. No, sustainable is not enough. I don't know how that like word became the term of our movement, but we need to do way better than to just sustain. We need to thrive. We need to regenerate. So I wrote it down. And that was the criteria. And I think some advice I would give you for anybody that's trying to create a community or anything, or trying to find a job or trying to find a wife or whatever you're looking for, list your criteria. Because the clearer you are with your criteria, the better chance you're going to find what you're seeking. Yeah. So I wrote it all down, and it's like all of a sudden you have the globe, the whole world, and then I said, okay, Costa Rica, and then there was just this one country the size of West Virginia, and then I said, okay, within 1 hour of San Jose, I was like, and then there was just this circle around San Jose, and then I said, okay, between 400 and 800 meters above sea level, 1 hour within San Jose, and then it was a lot less, and then it had to have a crystal clear river. My criteria was so clear, I went right there and found the land. And so we started this is the first community that we co-founded in 2006, and it's called La Ecovia, and now there's 45 families living there from 22 countries. We have 60 children in the school that the parents co-created. Epic, yeah. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a drone shot of the community gardens, and this is just one of the roads, and they're made from recycled plastic, and we have a huge methane. We turn our septic into methane, which is pretty cool. We don't have a big golf course. Our roads have over 100 species of fruit trees growing along them. It's pretty awesome. And so this was in 2005 that we started. This is our yoga deck and another shot of our garden. And then this is the school, Casa Sula, which used to be on site, but we outgrew it, and now it's about 5 minutes away. What's that? Yeah. I was on a television show with Zac Efron. That was on there, yeah. And so at the same time that we started Ecovia, my 2007 Burning Man camp, I've been going to Burning Man since 2001. In 2007 was a very, very hard, dusty year, probably the second dustiest after this year. And it was a very, very hard Burning Man year. And basically, our Burning Man camp dissembled, and we bought 70 acres up the street from Ecovia, and we created Tacotal. And that's a very old photo of Tacotal. And yeah, it's a little bit of a different structure. It was a little bit more rustic, but also just another thriving community in the same valley. And then 4 years ago, my dad was ready for more, and we did another little raise, and we bought 170 acres in between Ecovia and Tacotal. And right after we started the project, the Zac Efron show came on. If anybody's trying to do a project or anything in your marketing department, have a show on Netflix. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, really great marketing. It exploded what we were doing, and we sold 141 out of the 145 lots to people from 36 countries. And what's so amazing is like, I always think about, I sign the papers. I actually have to go back on Wednesday because I'm signing more papers. And I would be sitting in the lawyer, and with this kind of very conventional lawyer, and he, people would come in and sign, and then they would go out, and in between, we're waiting for the next people to come in. He would just look at me like, Stephen, where are you finding these people? From Morocco, from India, from Colombia, from Argentina, from Austria, from England. I mean, every one of them, one after another, like the coolest people he's ever met. Zac Efron. I mean, the clearer you are in describing your vision, the better chance you're going to find the right people. So, thanks, Dad. We also did two things that I want to just mention that we did that was really, and I really want to take my hat off to you, Dad, because you pushed so hard for it, is with our investors, we created a waterfall. I don't know if you know that term, but at a certain point, if we make a certain amount of money, if you're going to get a certain percentage back, at a certain point, we're going to take a percentage of that from your earnings and our earnings as the founders, and we're going to put it into a community fund. And right now we have $500,000 sitting in a fund to start doing really cool projects for the community right around there, creating a board with different local leaders in the area. And then the other thing we did is we it was so important to us to have a lot of Costa Ricans. So we radically discounted many of the lots and made just the best terms and financing so that we can get as many Costa Rican families living there as well. So yeah, it's awesome. And I just want to take a moment of like when a couple things I want to say. One thing is we were at dinner, we were talking about this concept of like the fine line between being a visionary and being a liar. You know, it's a very fine line. Like you have these visions and it's very important once you have a vision to start speaking it. And as you speak it, deeply observe the reactions. What's getting the reactions? What are people liking? What are people not liking? Stop saying the things they're not liking. Say more of the things they are. And so I just remember so well having this vision. Let's create this epic garden with this huge mandala and this Fibonacci spiral and a 20-meter dome. And so this is the picture of the first drawing. This is a drone shot of it first getting laid out with lime on the land, and then bang, boom. There, yeah. It's just like, it was so amazing. And that picture on the left is taken from our yoga deck. So like, I just remember the first time I was sitting with my partner Kara, and we're sitting up there looking out, and it was like, imagine we may build the yoga deck right here, and we can look out at this epic garden, and there's no limit to our dreams. Yeah, and now these gardens are pumping. Every Saturday, big baskets of food, you know, part of like your HOA, and instead of taking care of your golf course, they're like producing diverse organic foods for you. And now at this community, we're probably well over 150 species of fruit trees along the roads. It's like the world-class botanical garden. Like, how can we merge where we live with what we eat? And so, yeah, you can see the yoga deck there, kind of looking down on the garden. It's so beautiful. It's just so dreamy. And, yeah, and it's just so beautiful, like, you know, from, like, the idea, and then all of a sudden you're, like, gathered in these spaces, and it's so dreamy. Boop. Oh, this is such a random picture of, like, my indigenous friends and my praying over the first mango tree that we planted there on the land. Freaky. Yeah, and just design, you know, it's like, how can we bring together diverse thoughts and ideas like we're going to do on the 15 acres in Homestead, where you all can come and live with us in our new community, Eterna in Homestead. Yeah, it's just from thoughts to ideas to getting them down on paper, listing all the entities. And yeah, we had this idea, oh, let's make this like Flower of Life fire pit. And bang, we did. Look at that soil, by the way. Ah. And there was our first HOA meeting in February, and like 100 neighbors gathered from all over the world, and most of us meeting for the first time, and it was like summer camp, except it's forever. So amazing. It's so much fun. You know, and instead of it being like a boring, like stale, you know, HOA meeting, we're having like cacao ceremonies and ecstatic dances, and yeah, it was raging, totally raging. I'm also one of the co-founders of the Envision Festival. Has anybody ever been? Hands, Envision? Cool, awesome. Yeah, so Envision, like I said, I've been going to Burning Man since 2001, and I love creating experiences that crack open your mind. A woman actually came up to me today. Yep, she said she went to Envision in 2018, right? And 2020, and it completely changed her life. Like there was a before Envision and an after Envision. And I think that that's what we need. Like we need to find we need to create experience that jolt people. So I just want to take my hat off to Jeff and to Jackson for just creating this event. Like really, yeah, this is a really amazing thing. You know, you put out the right message and you attract the right people, and then those people meet each other, and then they start communities in Homestead. And it's incredible what happens, you know, when you throw the bait. So anyway, yeah, that was Envision. And, Envision, damn. Look at that DJ booth, it's so fun. So you might be thinking, okay, now what? Now what are you going to do? What's next? And so I started thinking, I just want to introduce everybody to my sweetie, Andrea Belen. Raise your hand, Andrea. Yeah, we met we got together 3 years ago, and I was already into all this madness, and she just came in and just like those boards back there with all the things, she just started coming in and tweaking all of the visions and all that. And she's like, Steven, it's great what you're doing, yet, and we can be doing even more. And so we just recently launched Eterna, which Eterna is ready to replicate this all around the world, merging this agriculture, the communities, conservation, and event spaces. You know, one of the things I've learned about communities, one of the things that's really hurting communities, it's hard to keep the young people around. Whether you go to the kibbutz in Israel, whether you go to the Findhorn in Scotland, or Damanhur in Italy, or the farm in Tennessee, these communities were amazing, but they were founded by their freaky hippie parents in the 70s, you know, and then they grow up and they're like, I want to go live in New York City, or I want to go live in Milan, or I want to go live in Berlin. I want to live in Tel Aviv. I don't want to live in your weird ways. So how do you keep the kids around? And I think the festival, imagine there's 5 or 6 festivals a year happening, you know, with thousands of people, and the music is constantly evolving, and the speakers are constantly on point with what young people want to learn about, so the young people will stay around. So that seems like a really important piece. Inclusion, fairness, compassion, and purpose. Like, how can we really create communities that'll thrive, radically improve people's lives, while radically improving the ecosystems and the surrounding communities where we live? And so, all of these different, we're starting now in Costa Rica, but now we're about to start one in Homestead. We're working with some friends in Colombia. We're working with people in Portugal. How can we replicate this and spread it like, I kind of want to say spread it like COVID, but I won't say that. So we just put that money into escrow on a property in San Juanillo, north of Nosara, which is 100 acres on the beach, and it's this beach right there, and it's just epic. And all of these properties are going to have all of these different elements, the event spaces and the communities. And one thing that we're really trying to figure out is these places like Nosara, what can we learn from a place like Tulum, or Playa del Carmen before that, or probably even Cancun before that? You know, I first went to Tulum, I don't know, in 2005, and it was way different, you know? It's really radically changed, and it's like, or we were just in Ibiza, and they're like, oh yeah, no one can open restaurants because there's nowhere for the waiters to live. It's too expensive. So that was like a big impetus with what we're doing with Eterna, is how can we create communities that are fair and affordable and make sense. And so there's the San Juanillo property, so exciting. And I'm gonna skip through these. This is Astional. There's another property that's just north of that, and Astional is the best turtle nesting beach in Costa Rica, in the world. Actually, one of the best turtle nesting beaches in the world, and you can kind of see where they are in relation to each other. Woo! And again, you see it's mostly cleared land. Like, that's part of our criteria, is we're looking for land that's already been cleared. And this one's 336 acres, and it's just like limitless the amount of food we could grow. So easy to make affordable housing because the land is so freaking big. Yeah, and we want to invite you to co-create this dream with us. This is happening. You know, I guess in the past it was so hard to raise money. Like, we had to fight to, we just had to convince people that we could do this. The world's ready. The world is ready. And then last but not least, I just want to tell you one final little bit of something that we're working on that I'm so excited about. I recently met, or a few years ago, actually in Tulum, I met a Mexican actress named Aislinn Derbez. Anybody know who she is? The daughter of Eugenio Derbez, he just won the Academy Award for that movie Coda. Anyway, she's a Mexican actress who we decided, along with Andrea, that we're working on a show, and that's why I started this presentation. It's called The World Makeover. And it's a TV show that we're going to go around the world, visiting communities around the world, from Aroville in India to Serenbe in Georgia, and visit these communities. What's working? What's not working? What can we bring to the Eterna model so that we can replicate these types of communities all around the world? And things are the way they are, but they don't need to be that way anymore. Look around. Look how, raise your hand if you're ready. Yeah, we're all ready. We all don't need to move to Costa Rica, but stop paying rent. Let's break free from this crazy matrix that's clearly not working. If not now, when? If not you, who? You! It's time. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, wait. I have a song. Wait. I'm so sorry. I'm going to sing you guys a song. This is totally out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to do it. Is that okay if I play? It's real short. Yeah, cool. Gracias. Hey, let's give it up for the tech crew. Amazing. Seriously. And big shout out to all the people at home. There's all kinds of people at home that are streaming this. That's so cool. Can't believe I'm doing this. You guys, I really don't want to do any of this. I really just want to be a reggae star. Gracias, hermano. Tranquilo. Eso, gracias. Buenísimo. Singers and players of instruments will be there. Singers and players of instruments will be there. Singers and players of instruments will be there when Babylon falls. Singers and players of instruments will be there. What did they teach you in your college? What did you learn in your university? What you gonna do with all that useless knowledge? You can't eat your PhD. No, you can't eat your PhD. No. Singers, everybody, players of instruments will be there. Singers and players of instruments will be there. Where will your food come from tomorrow? Where will the water that you drink? Where will it go when it goes down your sink? Bet you don't know. Singers and players of instruments will be there. Singers and players of instruments will be there. Judges on the line right now. Judges on the line right now. Judges on the line right now. Operator. Judges on the line right. Ring, 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 ring. I think I hear Jaja calling. Babylon walls are falling. Singers and players, they will be there. Singers and players of instruments will be there when Babylon falls. Thank you.
All right, one more time, everybody, for Mr. Stephen Brooks. Come on. Yes, yes, yes.